The Last Stand of Terra. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Orbital Defense Station Alpha, her weathered face reflected in the reinforced plasteel window. Below her, Earth gleamed like a marble of blue and white, deceptively peaceful against the void of space. But she knew better. The long-range sensors had detected them 3 days ago. The void swarm was coming. Admiral. Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice crackled through her neural link. The quantum calculations are complete. We have less than 6 hours before they breach the Kuiper Belt defense line. Chen closed her eyes, letting the weight of the moment settle on her shoulders. Humanity had achieved wonders in the past century. Colonies on Mars, settlements throughout the solar system, the first successful quantum fold drive. But nothing had prepared them for the horror that emerged from the depths of space 18 months ago. The void swarm defied conventional physics. They were living shadows that consumed energy and matter alike, leaving only entropy in their wake. Conventional weapons passed through them harmlessly. The best minds on Earth had worked tirelessly to understand them, but understanding brought little comfort. These weren't aliens seeking conquest or resources. They were cosmic predators, as mindless and inevitable as a black hole's event horizon. Status report on Operation Genesis, Chen commanded, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. All 47 ARC ships are prepared for launch, Admiral. The Genesis protocol has been successfully integrated into their core systems. Dr. Patel confirms the genetic repositories are secure. Chen nodded, though no one could see her. Operation Genesis was humanity's insurance policy, their refusal to go quietly into the night. Each ARC ship carried 10,000 carefully selected survivors in cryo-sleep, along with the compressed knowledge of human civilization, and the revolutionary Genesis protocol, technology that could terraform worlds in months rather than millennia. "How many ships do we have left in the defense fleet?" she asked, though she knew the answer would pain her. 312 operational vessels, Admiral. The lunar shipyards managed to repair the Hyperion and Zeus before the last attack. The antimatter reserves are at 60% capacity. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. But that wasn't the point anymore. Chen turned from the window and strode to the command center, her magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor. The room hummed with activity, hundreds of officers coordinating humanity's last stand. Holographic displays showed the approaching swarm, a vast cloud of darkness that consumed the light of distant stars. "Open a channel to all Earth forces," Chen ordered. The communications officer nodded, and a small red light indicated she was broadcasting. "This is Admiral Chen. In 6 hours, we face an enemy that has already consumed 3 star systems. They think us prey, easy meat to be devoured and forgotten. But humanity has never accepted defeat quietly. Operation Genesis launches in 5 hours. Our future, our children, will carry on among the stars. Our job is to give them time, to show these cosmic horrors that humanity does not break, does not yield, even in the face of extinction." She paused, watching as determination replaced fear in the eyes of her crew. "We have modified our quantum fold drives according to Dr. Patel's specifications. When the swarm reaches our line, we will create the largest quantum fold explosion in human history. We may not destroy them, but we will wound them, scatter them, buy our ARC ships the time they need to escape. The void swarm thinks us prey. Let us show them that humanity's teeth are sharp." Across the solar system, humanity's remaining defenders acknowledged her words. They were the products of 100,000 years of evolution, of countless ancestors who refused to submit to predators, to harsh environments, to the very limits of their biology. They had clawed their way from caves to the stars through sheer determination and ingenuity. The next 5 hours passed in a blur of preparation. Chen coordinated with the planetary defense grid, positioning their remaining ships for maximum effect. The ARC ships began their launch sequence, their massive engines igniting one by one. Each ship carried a different destination, coordinates chosen for their probability of supporting life and their distance from known void swarm activity. Swarm has breached the Kuiper Belt line, Rodriguez reported. All ARC ships except Genesis 47 have successfully launched. Chen watched as the last ARC ship rose from Earth's atmosphere, its hull gleaming in the sunlight. As it cleared the gravity well, a massive shadow fell across the solar system. The void swarm had arrived, their ethereal forms blocking out the stars themselves. All ships, execute Battle Plan Omega, Chen commanded. Drive cores to maximum output. Let's give our children something to remember us by. The defense fleet moved as one, their modified quantum fold drives spooling up to impossible levels. The void swarm sensed the energy buildup and accelerated, but it was too late. For Terra, Chen's voice rang out across all channels as she initiated the sequence. 312 quantum fold drives detonated simultaneously, creating a cascade of spatial distortions that ripped through space-time itself. The void swarm's shadowy forms were torn apart, scattered across light years by the reality-warping explosion. Orbital Defense Station Alpha buckled under the strain, its structural integrity failing. As emergency bulkheads slammed shut around her, Chen watched the last ARC ship vanish into the darkness of space, carrying humanity's future with it. The observation deck's windows cracked, then shattered. In her final moments, Admiral Sarah Chen smiled. The void swarm had come expecting to find prey, but humanity had proved once again that intelligence, determination, and sacrifice could overcome even the most overwhelming odds. As consciousness faded, Chen's last thought was of the ARC ships, now safely beyond the explosion's radius. Humanity would survive, would rebuild, would remember. And somewhere among the stars, her species would evolve into something stronger, something that could face the void swarm as equals. The last stand of Terra was over, but humanity's story was just beginning. Seeds among stars. Dr. Maya Patel watched the quantum fold readings stabilize on the bridge of Genesis 17, one of 47 ARC ships now scattered across the galaxy. The ship's AI confirmed they were light years from Earth, far beyond the reach of the quantum cascade explosion that had marked humanity's last stand. She pushed away the holographic display, her hands trembling slightly as she contemplated the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. 9,842 souls slept in the cryo chambers below, each one carefully chosen for their skills, genetic diversity, and psychological resilience. They were the seeds of humanity's future, and as the ship's chief scientist, it was her duty to ensure they found fertile ground. Dr. Patel, the ship's AI, designated Atlas, spoke through the neural interface. Initial scans of the target system are complete. 3 potentially habitable planets detected within the Goldilocks zone. Maya nodded, pulling up the scan data. The star was a stable K-type orange dwarf, younger than Earth's sun but with an expected lifespan of tens of billions of years. Perfect for a fresh start. Begin detailed atmospheric analysis of each candidate, she instructed. And Atlas, how are the Genesis protocol systems functioning? All systems nominal. The bacterial and fungal precursor stocks are stable. Nanofabrication units are at 99% efficiency. We can begin terraforming operations as soon as we select our target world. The Genesis protocol was Maya's life's work, a revolutionary system that combined engineered microorganisms, advanced nanotechnology, and controlled climate modification. It could transform a barren world into something habitable in months rather than millennia. The technology had been theoretical when the void swarm first appeared, but desperate times had accelerated its development beyond all expectations. Doctor, Atlas interrupted her thoughts. I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the second planet. They appear artificial in nature. Maya froze. Artificial? Show me. The holographic display shifted, revealing a detailed scan of the planet. Regular geometric patterns dotted its surface, the unmistakable signs of civilization. But the energy readings were weak, degraded. Whatever had built these structures was long gone. Wake Commander Hassan, Maya ordered after a moment's consideration. He needs to see this. 20 minutes later, Commander Karim Hassan stood beside her, his dark eyes studying the scan data. Recently thawed from cryo-sleep, he still moved with the careful precision of someone reacquainting themselves with their body. "Ruins," he said finally. "We're not the first to reach for the stars." "No," Maya agreed. "But where are they now? And more importantly, did they face the same enemy we fled from?" Hassan ran a hand through his silver-streaked hair. "We need to investigate, but carefully. Assemble a science team. No more than 20 people from Cryo. We'll send drones first, then follow up with a manned expedition, if it's safe." The next few days were a blur of activity. As the science team awakened and oriented themselves, Atlas coordinated a swarm of survey drones. The ruins proved to be extensive, covering much of the planet's southern continent. They were beautiful in their alien geometry, spiraling structures that seemed to defy gravity, built from materials that still resisted weathering after what preliminary dating suggested was at least 50,000 years. "Look at this," Dr. Sarah Chen, the team's xenorchaeologist and daughter of the admiral who had led Earth's last stand, pointed to a holographic reconstruction. "These patterns, they're not just architectural. They're mathematical formulas, star charts, maybe even a form of writing." Maya studied the complex symbols. "Can you decode them?" "With Atlas's help, maybe. The base mathematics seem universal. We're seeing representations of prime numbers, geometric sequences. Whoever built this wanted to communicate with whoever came after." Commander Hassan authorized a careful landing operation. Wearing protective suits, the science team set foot on alien soil for the first time. The ruins stretched toward the orange sky, like the bones of a fallen giant, their surfaces etched with countless symbols and equations. "Over here." Dr. Chen's voice crackled through the comm system. I think this is some kind of archive." The team converged on her location. She stood before a wall covered in flowing script, but it was the device at its base that captured their attention. A crystalline structure, roughly cylindrical, pulsed with a faint inner light. "It's still active," Maya breathed. After all this time, working carefully, they interfaced their systems with the alien device. Atlas processed the data streams, translating the alien mathematics into something human minds could comprehend. As the information flowed, a chill ran down Maya's spine. The ruins were a warning. The civilization that had built them, calling themselves the predecessors, had encountered the void swarm millennia ago. They too had fought, had lost, had scattered among the stars. But they had left behind knowledge, crucial data about the swarm's nature, their weaknesses, and most importantly, their purpose. "They're not just predators," Maya explained to Commander Hassan later, surrounded by holographic representations of the predecessor data. "Their immune systems, the galaxy, maybe the universe itself, created them to prevent any single species from becoming too dominant. But the predecessors found a flaw in their programming, a way to potentially defeat them. They just ran out of time to implement it." Hassan's expression was grim. "And now that knowledge has passed to us, the question is, what do we do with it?" Maya looked through the observation window at the alien ruins below. "We prepare. We build. We contact the other ARC ships. The predecessors couldn't defeat the swarm alone, but maybe together, with their knowledge and our determination, we could end humanity's exile." Hassan finished. Maya nodded. "And ensure no other species faces what we faced. The Genesis Protocol can give us the worlds we need. The predecessor data can give us the weapons. All we need now is time." As if in response to her words, Atlas announced another discovery. Buried deep in the ruins, they had found a quantum communication array, old but potentially repairable. If they could restore it, they might be able to contact the other ARC ships, to share what they had found. Humanity had fled Earth as refugees, scattered like seeds among the stars. But perhaps they had been guided here, to this world, to these ruins, for a purpose. They had inherited not just a warning, but a mission to succeed where the predecessors had failed, to become not just survivors, but protectors. Maya looked at the sleeping cryopods below, each containing a human life, a potential future. "Begin wake-up procedures for the engineering teams," she ordered. "We have work to do." The echo of hope. 5 years after the discovery of the predecessor ruins, humanity's scattered colonies had begun to take root among the stars. On New Terra, the third planet of the Kepler 186 system, Captain James Martinez stood before the newly constructed quantum relay array. The massive structure stretched toward the purple sky like a metallic flower, its petals drinking in the light of the orange sun. "Signal strength at 98%, reported Lieutenant Emma Wright, her fingers dancing across the holographic controls. "We're ready for the first broadcast." James took a deep breath. After years of work, combining predecessor technology with human ingenuity, they had finally built a communication network capable of reaching across the vast distances separating the Arkship colonies. The message they would send today had been carefully crafted by Dr. Patel herself. "Begin transmission," he ordered. The quantum relay hummed to life, its crystalline core pulsing with energy as it reached across light years of space. The message was simple but powerful. Earth's last stand had not been in vain. Humanity had not only survived, but had discovered the key to fighting back against the Void Swarm. Within hours, the first responses began arriving. Genesis 32 had established a thriving colony in the Ta City system. Genesis 45 reported similar findings of predecessor ruins in the Gliese 581 system. One by one, the surviving colonies made contact, each bringing new pieces to the puzzle. 17 colonies reporting in, Emma announced, her voice tight with emotion. All have successfully implemented the Genesis protocol. Multiple colonies report finding predecessor artifacts. "We're not alone out here, sir." James studied the star map hovering before him, watching as green dots appeared, marking each colony's location. The Void Swarm had meant to scatter humanity, to weaken them through isolation. Instead, they had spread humanity's influence across hundreds of light years, creating a network of strongholds. Dr. Sarah Chen's voice crackled through the quantum comm. She had become the leading expert on predecessor technology, working tirelessly to unlock their secrets. "Captain, we've completed the analysis of the combined predecessor data. What we found, it changes everything." In the secure conference chamber beneath New Terra's primary settlement, James joined a quantum-linked meeting with leaders from all 17 colonies. Dr. Chen's hologram stood at the center, surrounded by complex mathematical models. "The predecessors weren't just one civilization," she explained. "They were an alliance of species, each driven from their homes by the Void Swarm. They came together, sharing knowledge and resources, but they were discovered before they could implement their final solution." She gestured, and the hologram shifted to show a complex device. "This is the Nexus Key. It's a quantum-scale device capable of rewriting the base code of reality itself. The predecessors believed it could be used to reprogram the Void Swarm, to change their fundamental nature from destroyers to guardians. Why didn't they succeed?" asked Governor Rahman of Genesis 32. "Time and resources," Sarah replied. "Building the Nexus Key requires materials that can only be found in the heart of dying stars. The predecessors had the knowledge but lacked the means to gather these materials safely. But we have the Genesis protocol," James finished, understanding dawning. "We can terraform worlds, establish bases near these stars, gather what we need." Dr. Maya Patel's hologram nodded. "Exactly. The protocol was designed to create life, but with modification, it can also protect us while we work in environments that would normally be lethal. We can succeed where the predecessors failed." The implications were staggering. Humanity had thought themselves refugees, struggling simply to survive. Instead, they had become the inheritors of a grand mission, chosen by circumstance and determination to complete what the predecessors had started. "There's more," Sarah continued. The predecessor ruins contain references to other surviving species, other civilizations driven into hiding by the swarm. If we can find them, contact them. We could reform the alliance, Governor Raman said. Unite all surviving species against the swarm. The meeting lasted hours as plans were formed and responsibilities divided. Each colony would focus on different aspects of the grand project. Some would search for other civilizations. Others would begin gathering the exotic materials needed for the Nexus Key. All would continue to expand, to strengthen their defenses, to prepare for the day when they would face the Void Swarm again. As the meeting concluded, James walked to the surface observation dome. The purple sky of New Terra stretched above him, stars twinkling in the alien night. Somewhere out there, the Void Swarm continued its mindless mission of destruction. But they no longer faced a scattered, desperate humanity. They would face a unified species, armed with the knowledge of the predecessors and driven by an unshakable determination to not just survive, but to transform their greatest enemy into a force for protection rather than destruction. Captain, Emma's voice interrupted his thoughts. Long-range sensors are detecting unusual quantum fluctuations from the direction of Proxima Centauri. The pattern. It's not human, and it's not predecessor technology. James smiled. It seemed the universe had more surprises in store. Alert the science team. Let's go make some new friends. The echo of hope was becoming a chorus, growing stronger with each passing day. Humanity's exile had led them not to extinction, but to their true purpose among the stars. Unity's dawn. The crystalline ship emerged from the quantum wake near Proxima Centauri like a shard of frozen starlight. From the bridge of the New Horizon, humanity's first deep space exploration vessel, Commander Emma Wright watched in awe as the alien vessel's faceted surface caught and reflected the red dwarf's light in mesmerizing patterns. Translation matrix is active, reported Dr. Viktor Petrov, his fingers moving across the neural interface. They're broadcasting on multiple frequencies, using mathematical sequences similar to those found in the predecessor archives. After detecting the quantum fluctuations 3 months ago, humanity had scrambled to prepare for first contact. The New Horizon, built using a combination of human innovation and predecessor technology, represented the best of what the colonies could achieve together. Opening communications, Emma announced, her heart pounding. This was the moment that would determine whether humanity would find allies in their quest or face new challenges among the stars. The holographic display shimmed, resolving into a form that defied easy description. The alien being appeared to be composed of crystalline structures that shifted and flowed like liquid, forming patterns that somehow conveyed emotion and intent. We are the crystalline Concordat. The translation matrix rendered in clear English, the alien's thoughts converting to language through mathematical principles. We detected your use of predecessor quantum technology. You are not them, yet you inhabit their ruins. Emma straightened in her chair. We are humanity, refugees from a world called Earth. We found the predecessor ruins after fleeing from the Void Swarm. Their knowledge has given us hope of fighting back. There was a pause, the alien's crystalline form rippling with what the cultural analysis suggested was surprise or excitement. You speak of the great enemy, yet you talk of resistance. Show us what you have learned. Over the next several hours, Emma and her crew shared humanity's story. Their last stand at Earth, the Ark ship exodus, the discovery of the predecessor ruins, and most importantly, their understanding of the Nexus Key. The crystalline being absorbed each detail with growing interest. We too are survivors, the alien revealed. Our original form was organic, but we learned to transfer our consciousness into crystalline matrices to survive the swarm's attack. We have waited, hidden, gathering strength for over 10,000 years, but we never found the key to victory that you now possess. Then join us, Emma proposed. The predecessors believed that unity was the path to survival. They failed because they ran out of time. We have the Genesis Protocol to gather the materials we need, but we could use allies with your experience and technology. The crystalline ship's response was immediate. More vessels emerged from quantum space, each one a different configuration of geometric perfection. "We are not alone," the alien explained. "There are others like us. The stellar nomads, the quantum collective, the Bioforge assembly. All survivors, all hiding, all waiting for a chance to reclaim our place in the galaxy." Dr. Sarah Chen, who had insisted on joining this mission, stepped forward. The predecessor's archives hinted at other survivors. "With your help, we can find them, unite them. The Nexus Key requires resources and knowledge beyond any single species' capability. Your Genesis protocol." The crystalline being's form shifted with interest. It could protect organic forms in stellar environments. "Yes," Sarah confirmed. "We've already begun establishing bases near candidate stars to harvest the exotic materials we need. With your crystalline technology, we could expand our operations exponentially." The next few months saw a flurry of diplomatic activity across human space. The crystalline Concordat made contact with other survivor species, each bringing unique technologies and perspectives to the Alliance. The stellar nomads contributed their mastery of quantum navigation, allowing ships to move through space with unprecedented precision. The quantum collective brought computational power that could model the most complex stellar phenomena. The Bioforge assembly shared biological engineering that complemented and enhanced the Genesis protocol. On New Terra, a massive construction project began. The combined knowledge and resources of the Alliance allowed for the creation of a facility unlike anything humanity had dreamed possible. The Nexus Forge, they called it, a place where the components of the predecessor's ultimate weapon would be assembled. Emma stood with representatives from each species, watching as the first quantum-forged components were brought together. The crystalline being who had first contacted humanity, now known as First Light Breaking Through Darkness, shifted its form in what she had learned was appreciation. "Your species has achieved in months what we could not in millennia," it communicated. "Not through superior technology or knowledge, but through your ability to inspire unity and action in others." "Humanity has always been adaptable," Emma replied. "We survive not by being the strongest or smartest, but by learning from others and working together." The Void Swarm thought they were scattering us to our doom. Instead, they scattered us far enough to find all of you. The facility's quantum sensors suddenly pulsed with urgent warnings. Far at the edge of detected space, shadow patterns had begun to appear. The Void Swarm had finally detected the unprecedented gathering of survivor species. "They're coming," First Light announced, its crystalline form pulsing with determination. "Sooner than we expected." Emma watched the tactical display, seeing the shadows slowly spreading across space. But unlike before, she felt no fear. Around her stood representatives of species that had survived the unsurvivable, each bringing their own strength to the Alliance. The Void Swarm was coming, yes, but this time they would face a united front of species determined not just to survive, but to thrive. "Let them come," she said, her voice carrying across the quantum communication network to all allied species. "We have a galaxy to reclaim." Defiance rising. The void between stars grew darker as the swarm approached, a rolling wave of living shadows that devoured light itself. From the command center of the Nexus Forge, Dr. Maya Patel watched as the tactical displays tracked the enemy's advance. Around her, representatives from a dozen survivor species coordinated their forces, each bringing their unique strengths to humanity's final gambit. "Genesis protocol stations report ready." Commander Hassan's voice came through the quantum network. In the years since their exile, he had aged but grown stronger, like tempered steel. "All stellar harvesting operations are complete." Maya nodded, her attention fixed on the holographic representation of the Nexus Key hanging in the center of the room. The device was beautiful in its complexity, a quantum-scale machine designed to rewrite the fundamental rules of reality itself. The combined knowledge of the predecessors and the resources of the Alliance had made its construction possible, but they had only one chance to use it. Crystalline fleet in position. First light breaking through darkness announced, its crystalline form pulsing with determination. The Quantum Collective has optimized our shield harmonics. We will hold the line. The Alliance's strategy was ambitious, perhaps impossible. The Nexus key needed to be activated at the precise center of the Void Swarm's mass, where their quantum negative energy was most concentrated. Getting it there would require everything they had. Multiple quantum ruptures detected. Sarah Chen's voice cut through the command center. The swarm is accelerating. They've adapted to our quantum drive signatures. Of course they had. The Void Swarm was the universe's immune system, evolving to counter any threat to its programmed purpose. But humanity had learned to evolve too. Execute Operation Lightbringer, Maya ordered, her voice carrying across the quantum network to all Allied forces. This ends today. The battle erupted across 3 dimensions of space and 7 dimensions of quantum reality. The crystalline Concordat ships, geometric perfection given form, created a lattice of interlocking energy fields. The stellar nomads' vessels danced through impossible spaces, their quantum weapons striking at the swarm's weakest points. The Bioforge Assembly's living ships released clouds of engineered organisms that disrupted the swarm's coherence. At the heart of the formation, humanity's contribution rose like a new sun. The Genesis Protocol, originally designed to create life on barren worlds, had been modified into a weapon of unprecedented power. Where its energy touched the Void Swarm, chaos erupted as fundamental forces warred against each other. Breach in Section 7. Someone shouted. A portion of the crystalline defense grid had collapsed, shadows pouring through like water through a broken dam. Redirect Bioforge units to seal the breach, First Light commanded. Human vessels, maintain your position. Everything depends on protecting the Nexus key. Maya watched as the battle unfolded, her hand steady on the controls despite the weight of trillion lives resting on this moment. The Void Swarm was powerful, perhaps unstoppable, but they had never faced anything like this. Multiple species fighting as one, each complementing the other's strengths. Key activation sequence initiated, Dr. Chen reported. We need 3 minutes to achieve full quantum resonance. Those would be the longest 3 minutes in history. The swarm, sensing the threat, concentrated its attack. Entire ships vanished into shadow, their crews' sacrifices buying seconds of precious time. The crystalline fleet's formation began to buckle under the onslaught. We can't hold. First Light's voice carried notes of strain never before heard from its kind. Redirect power from the Genesis stations, Maya ordered. Full output to the defense grid. We just need a little more time. Humanity's terraforming stations, spread across dozens star systems, poured their energy into the battle. The combined power of multiple suns strengthened the Allied lines, pushing back the shadows meter by precious meter. Quantum resonance at 90%, Sarah announced. The key is ready for transport. This was the moment everything hinged on. The key had to be delivered to the exact center of the swarm's mass, a suicide mission by any calculation. The delivery ship would have to navigate through the densest concentration of void entities ever recorded. This is Commander Hassan. A new voice cut through the quantum network. Genesis 17 is moving into position for final delivery. Maya's heart stopped. Hassan's ship, the same vessel that had carried them from Earth, that had found the predecessor ruins, was moving toward the heart of the swarm. Karim, wait, she started, but he cut her off. The Genesis Protocol was your gift to humanity, Maya. Let me give mine. Besides, she could hear the smile in his voice. I promised Sarah's mother I'd protect humanity's future. Time to keep that promise. Genesis 17 accelerated into the void, its hull glowing with the combined protective technologies of a dozen species. The swarm converged on it, sensing the threat, but Hassan's piloting was sublime. The ship ducked and weaved through gaps in space-time that shouldn't have existed, carrying its precious cargo toward its target. Impact in 10 seconds, Hassan reported calmly. It's been an honor serving with all of you. For Terra. The explosion when Genesis 17 detonated was unlike anything physics had predicted. The Nexus key activated at the moment of impact, its quantum mechanisms reaching into the very fabric of reality. The void swarm's shadow forms began to change, their entropic nature reversing. "It's working," Sarah breathed, watching the sensor readings. "The key is rewriting their base code. They're becoming something else." Where there had been darkness, light began to bloom. The void swarm's forms shifted, transformed, their purpose fundamentally altered. No longer destroyers, they became guardians, protectors of life rather than its enemy. In the days that followed, as the Alliance began to rebuild, Maya stood with First Light and the other species representatives, watching the transformed swarm entities dance among the stars like auroras. The predecessors would be proud, First Light observed. Their vision is finally realized. Not just their vision, Maya corrected. This victory belongs to all of us. Every species brought something unique to this fight. The swarm thought they were enforcing balance by destroying civilizations. Instead, they drove us to create something greater together than any of us could have achieved alone. Across the galaxy, the survivors emerged from hiding. The transformed swarm entities helped restore worlds that had been ravaged, their new purpose as protectors reshaping the galaxy into something wonderful and strange. Humanity's exile had ended not with a return home, but with the creation of a new home. A galaxy where different species lived and grew together, their combined strengths ensuring that no civilization would ever face extinction alone again. And somewhere, in the quantum records of the universe, the story of how a scattered, desperate humanity had united the survivors and changed the nature of reality itself became legend. They had proved that intelligence, cooperation, and determination could overcome even the most fundamental forces of the cosmos. The stars, once hiding places, now beckoned with the promise of endless discovery and growth. Humanity's greatest exile had led to their greatest triumph, not just survival, but transformation, not just for themselves, but for all life in the galaxy.